What is up, guys, and welcome to another edition of the Market Marauder Show. Be in the market one trade at a time. If you're new to the Market Marauder Show, it's an investment channel helps you find best deals in the market. All right, so going to be talking about what happened to the metaverse. So the metaverse, kind of back a year ago, kind of ramped up. There were a lot of different plays that were out there. In October 28th of 2021, you had social media company Facebook change their name to Meta, kind of alluding to the fact that the metaverse would be the big play in the upcoming future. But since then, Meta, formerly known as Facebook, has kind of gone down. Their earnings have kind of been pretty bad since then. As far as capital allocation is concerned, they're still overall a great company, in my personal opinion. They have so many things that they're doing. But what really happened to the metaverse portion of the market? So you've seen NFTs still kind of come and go, but no one has really been shedding light or talking about the metaverse. You have a lot of other plays as well, where Microsoft was talking about having their own version of the metaverse. You also have like Mana and the Sandbox, or Decentraland and the Sandbox, which a lot of people were trying to jump into. There were lands that were being sold in Decentraland for exorbitant amount of money, or large amounts of money, essentially. You also had plots that were in the Sandbox. There were a lot of celebrities that were jumping in on the metaverse. It was kind of like a buzzword: is the metaverse is the future. Get your digital land now before it's all taken. But what really happened to the structure or to the plan of that? So in this episode, I'm going to be diving into what some of these companies are doing as far as the metaverse is concerned, like Decentraland, the Sandbox, and try to shed light on some of the plans that Meta has for the future of the metaverse. Now, they still have Oculus, which they're selling. It's still a great selling product, but kind of want to shed light and see what are some of these projects that are going to be in the metaverse, and what really is the metaverse to different people or different industries. So the metaverse to crypto investors may be one thing, but metaverse to corporate world may be another thing, or another form of the metaverse. So definitely going to be exploring some of those things to see what's going on with the metaverse, since there really hasn't been much talk of the metaverse since about a year ago. So we've kind of gone a year without people talking about the metaverse. We do have Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies that are in a kind of a bearish market, so that may be a reason why the metaverse isn't really talked about. But also, you have the stock market as well going down, but I feel like that shouldn't shed a damper on having the metaverse in general not be talked about, or any other of the large projects that are going on in the metaverse to have stopped. So let's jump into it. All right, so first we have just going back to some of the metaverse projects that I recently talked about coming out, and I think they're still in development on coming out. We have Microsoft Mesh. So this is one that links with Teams. Microsoft's actually doing quite a bit of things involving the metaverse themselves, and they have their device right here, which is HoloLens. And so they have HoloLens 2. They have a VR headset, which they're releasing, or they have released. But I think overall it's pretty interesting on their method for doing it. I think the most interesting part on here is talking about Mesh for Teams. Definitely looking at this, I'm very excited for this to come out, especially considering Teams is something that I'm very familiar with using. I think Mesh for Teams is just the next step forward. I think it'll be pretty, inclusive, and it'd be pretty cool to use overall. So it seems like they have that technology that they're working on, and as it being a Microsoft project, it's very interesting that there's not really many updates for this. You kind of have to sign up for updates. I haven't really heard about any of this in the news, but I think they're still working on this. It'll be a seamless integration, and it'll kind of be a one up, in my personal opinion, from Zoom. So Zoom, to my knowledge, is not really working on a metaverse application. I don't really think they have the technology to do so. So the main difference between Microsoft Teams and then Zoom is just basically which one you prefer. They have Zoom for Government, which is kind of a more secure version of Zoom. Also, they have Microsoft Teams, which is a kind of secure for some places, but not different applications. And so they have Microsoft has a long list of products that are out. They still have Xbox as well, which they have not sold off. So I think Microsoft, once they kind of release this, Teams will kind of transition to be kind of one of the number one ones over using Zoom. But you know that's all I've really heard about it. Got to do more research on this one. They also have Mesh for HoloLens as well, which is something to look forward to. And then AltSpace VR, which is similar to the Mesh for HoloLens or Mesh app for HoloLens. But I think the one that is most interesting is going to be Mesh for Teams, since so many companies already use Teams. I think the Mesh for Teams could help promote remote work as well as help with engagement overall. So next we have Facebook, which is now Meta. This is just a talking about when they first released or first came up with their company. So it says today, Connect 2021, CEO Mark Zuckerberg introduced Meta, which will bring together an app and technology under one new company umbrella. The Metaverse will bring the metaverse to life and help people connect and find communities and grow businesses. So I think when Meta kind of came up with this or came up with this plan, I think ultimately it's still a good plan. Still yet to see it yield some results. I think there's tons of people working for Meta. I know that they're working hard on it. They really can't release any information on it until it's in really good stages. And so definitely be looking for some more releases on that. And then also you have Microsoft as well. So I think Meta and Microsoft are going to be two plays to look at for those. They're It's kind of a loose news article of what they're trying to do. So they have Spark AR Roundup, Spark AR certification and professional course preview, Blade and Sorcery, Nomad come out on Oculus Quest. They have gaming news and some of the other things that are coming out with this article. Some of the things probably already came out. They talked about on here the acquisition of Quest with the $150 million investment in immersive learning and training the next generation of creators. So really big on content creation, and definitely think that once they have their what they're calling their metaverse, which will be their hybrid online social experience and work environment kind of segued together. Once they finish that, definitely gonna be interested to see how Meta performs. Next, we have the Sandbox. So this is kind of moving over towards crypto. The Sandbox is trading under the ticker sign SAND. They're currently $1.04, down 1.54%. Let's go to their 1 year chart. 1 year chart, they had a high. This is around $8.40. So they are on sale currently at the moment at a little bearish downward trend. All of crypto is at a bearish downward trend, in my personal opinion. But I think the Sandbox being ranked number 37, especially as a metaverse cryptocurrency, is one to look at. There hasn't really been much news on it as well. They do have one big update that they have coming out here. They will be having season 3 for their alpha season 3. The Sandbox is going to be coming out here pretty soon. They have a ton of partners. Bored Ape Yacht Club, Care Bears on here. You have Rabbids. Um, you have tons of actual companies that are partnering, and people like famous celebrities that are partnering with them as well, that bought a large chunk of the metaverse land. So on here you can see also Paris Hilton, some more celebrities coming on here. You have some of their partners: Snoop Dogg, Walking Dead, Adidas, South China Morning Post, Avenged Sevenfold, Richie Houghton, The Smurfs, Hell's Kitchen, Roller Coaster Tycoon World, Dead Mouse, Atari, Care Bear, Blondish, and America Brands. So if you are interested in the Sandbox, I encourage everybody to go. You have 3 days, according to this video, to August 24th, to go in and make sure you mark that date. Make sure you look at the sand as well, as far as coin price is concerned. And it's free to create an account. and make sure you guys go check it out and really experience what's going on there. I think this is going to be interesting with so many partnerships with these big major companies. I don't think that they will partner with these for no reason. There's definitely something big on the horizon for the Sandbox, and so it is in its alpha season. So just bear that in mind. So there's still a lot of developing that they're doing, trying to perfect the system. But I think once that happens, we could see more people getting involved in the Sandbox. Last on here we have Decentraland. So Decentraland is ranked number 36, just one up above one up above Sand, which is a Sandbox. They're at 83 cents per coin. We go on here to their 1 year chart. So a year ago they were up around the same time as the Sandbox at $5.79. So they didn't really reach the high. Um, as high as the Sandbox did, but they did reach a pretty high value at that $5. Decentraland is essentially the same thing or similar thing to the Sandbox. There are a lot of partnerships with them as well, and you can go and do quite a bit of things in the Decentraland, and so definitely make sure you guys go check that out. Just making the video because haven't really heard much more about Decentraland or the Sandbox or any real metaverse project. It's kind of been, under the radar for quite some time now, but I think once, you know, Facebook or Meta and Microsoft really start to ramp out some of their things, people will see the Sandbox Alpha Season 3 come out. You'll really get to see more people start to ramp up and talk about the metaverse. I think the Microsoft Mesh Teams is really a big one. Once that's incorporated to a lot of companies, you could definitely see, the use case or real use case, or a lot of companies could see the real use case for implementing the metaverse and how that will apply to their daily lives and work, since it's something they're already using with Microsoft Teams. So hopefully that information helped you all out, make you to give you a more informed decision. I think the metaverse overall will still be a great project. There are different multiple metaverses that out here. I would consider Decentraland and the Sandbox two separate metaverses. I would also consider Microsoft Mesh to be its own metaverse. But the topic of metaverse, I think, as a whole, has not been really discussed by many crypto investors as well as just the market in general. I don't really know what their sentiment is on the metaverse, but I think once all these projects start to ramp back up, people will say, "Oh yeah, that project was coming out." So make sure you guys just stay tuned for those projects as they begin to ramp up, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.